Hey guys, and welcome back to World Machine. I was gonna say Minecraft. We are in World Machine here today, guys. So I was messing around with the valley a little bit, and I realized I made a big oops. There was a very big oops in this whole process. That pretty much all this that we've done here can be summed up in about 5 nodes down here. Okay, maybe more than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 nodes. The snow is just something else. But, so, we got all this down here. That basically, so I'll show you guys the difference. So here in this guy, I think, yeah, I turned off the river for now. So this is what we had before. And this is kind of, it looks like it's okay. But we're having a lot of problems in certain regions of it. If you guys remember, a lot of times in these mountains, we're just kind of being a pain to work with. Now, the other map looks different, but in a better way, in my opinion. So remember this guy? This is what we got right here. These mountains are kind of like this, where we pretty much, the way we did this one is we built the mountains, and then we tried to create a valley to work with it. But if you guys think naturally, a valley is created through erosion. So if we start with the valley and have the mountains kind of be created off of that, it gives the same result, but a lot more efficiently, if that makes sense. So pretty much what we're going to do is, so we have that one. Then down here, this one, again, I said it's a lot different, but this I built off of having the river valley. And granted, the mountains do look quite a bit different. They're not quite done yet. And the river is, it's a lot more built around a river and kind of the water running. You can kind of trace it along there where it would have went through. And so that, I think, works a lot better for what we're trying to get across here. I did actually go ahead and take this out into World Painter and just did very very basic of moving that into World Painter, and then just did some stone overlaying on a 45-degree angle up above. And I can walk you guys through that step, but I think for this later on, but I think for this video I'm just going to show you guys the test result. But when we actually do like the final export, we'll go ahead and do that all together at once. But anyways, so this is kind of where the map is right here. I did adjust the sizing of the map a little bit. So before we were filling just one of these squares, and now we're filling a little bit more. Basically that's 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers, which comes out to 8,000 or 800 by 800 blocks in game. So I changed it up to 10 by 10. So then this is coming out to 1,000 by 1,000. So it makes it a lot easier for importing into good old World Painter and moving into Minecraft. That being said, since we're in the free version, we can't get a full resolution image yet. I'm going to send it over to a buddy who has the full version once we get the map finished up, and he'll get the height map for me, and then we can have a full resolution image to work with. Basically what that does is, so we're going to take an image that's basically turn this into 500 by 500 pixels, and we're basically going to stretch that out to 1000 by 1000 for this test version. So it looks a little bit weird because it's basically just stretched out. Every one block actually is turned into 2. So it's basically taking these down as 2 blocks, turning it to 1, then turning that back into 2. So it just gets a little weird in a few places. But yeah, so kind of to walk you guys through what we did in here. So pretty much all I did was I came through with a layout generator, and this time I tried to control this map a lot more through the layout generator than the advanced purlins and things like that. So pretty much what we did is, if you go into here, so we have this layout generator that is our river line, and so we kind of have that nice curve to it that we didn't really have beforehand. I'm gonna bring this guy up here actually a little bit more, kind of turn that a little bit there, and just kind of even this out a bit more. And we can actually, ooh, we can right click on the line itself and hit perform curve smoothing, which is just right here, perform curve smoothing under shape command. So you just right click on the line itself, and that's how you get that dialog option up. Pretty much all that's going to do for us is allow us to just kind of straighten all this good stuff out here. And so pretty much all I did going in here is, we have a river here that's kind of set at this height to bring it up so it's not actually down at the whole base, and we inverted the values. So normally this would be like where the mountain was created, but basically we just hit invert and then it reset itself. And then over here it changed the fallout distance up to 6 kilometers, so the mountains are just very much on the edge itself. And over here, that kind of like weird indent thing on the right side, pretty much what this is, I added a little circle here that is kind of just the same as this, but it's a very much lesser value. So you can see it's stuff here. It's about half the height. So this one's inverted as well. So it's really just kind of like bringing that mountain area down because it was a little awkwardly sticking out. But beyond that, pretty much what I did was, if you see this little checkbox up here, right above the invert values, it says use breakup. And I did this, and I turned the roughness up to 4 and the breakup scale down to 1 kilometer. Basically what this allows us to do is, I can kind of show you guys this, bringing that back down to 1, and then we can, so you can see that it very much smoothed out the region. Pretty much what this does is every 1 kilometer, it kind of is taking its breakout, or it's disforming the shape of the line, so it's trying to make it a little bit more natural and not very much that basic boring line shape that we would have had before, and that's what's making this area so much more interesting. So we're controlling a lot of it through that. Then we put that into an advanced purlin, which then brings it out into this shape right here, which we can build this out, and you guys will see it's just a lot more natural looking than we had before. Granted, the mountains aren't quite as spiky as they were in the other one, but I think this way, with where we're at right now, it's a lot better. So you can see this is really, really rough. It's very much just starting to put all the terrain together. And then what we move into from here is, so you can see this kind of is like barely smoothing out these center regions. They're pretty like poofy, or they're very much rolling hills, more or less, building up into mountains, which I like that natural progression we have. Then we can go back into the devices view, and pretty much out of here, I do 2 noise things. One noise thing for everywhere that's very much a minor. It's only 0.4, so it's very small amounts of noise. And then down here, we have one that's much higher. It's 0.07. So 0.04 and 0.07. But the 0.07 one, we take the slope of the whole area and we grab the steeper slopes, like this, from a certain elevation and up, and then to mess with those a little bit more, we add a sharper noise to that. And then that comes into a terracing tool here, which kind of gives us this look to it. Trying to just mix it up more because it's pretty natural, like how the erosion would happen kind of as the water levels from the old glaciers would come down and whatnot. It'd be a much more natural at different levels and things like that. And then finally after that, we send this into an erosion filter, which is our final step here, which brings us into this option. There's a few obviously awkward little things, like some of the tops of the mountains are a little flat, like right across there, and then right over that bit too. So we can turn this guy around here and you can see it kind of like that, but that's stuff we can obviously work with. But I think this is going to be the route that we're starting to go with this river valley, just because I kind of messed up in the first 2 episodes and didn't really think about it that logically. I was just like, you know what, we're going to make some mountains and then it's going to make a valley in between it. Whereas this way I was like, I'm going to make a valley. So that's kind of where we went with here, guys. And then going from there, I guess we'll jump over into Minecraft. You guys can kind of see how this works out with that stretched version of it. So kind of start there. Basically all I did was I sent this to height output, and the height output, you create a file name, you hit set, you choose PNG, because then you can load that as a height map into World Painter, and then you just write the output to disk. So you hit set there and send it to a file location, and you kind of build off of that. So I'll catch you guys over in Minecraft and we'll keep going with this. So here we are back in Minecraft. I'm letting this load in a little bit. I have 32 chunk render distance turned on, so we'll get a really good image of what we're seeing here. And this is basically, let's see, let's get all this stuff loaded in here. So what I did here was at 45 degrees and up, I put stone. At 35 degrees and up, I put dirt, just so we can kind of see how it's shaping out and things like that. So this is the northwest area of the mountains. I did a little bit of exploring trying to just get the map. That's not map, this is map. So I did a little bit of exploring so we can kind of see where we're at right here. And actually real quick, I'm going to have us jump back over into World Machine so you guys can get a better idea of where we're standing right now. So currently we are right about in this area right here. I think this map's actually a little bit changed up from when I did this height export. But yeah, so we're standing just about in this region, guys. So back into Minecraft now, and we can see kind of just how these hills are starting to shape out in the mountains. What I'd want them to be is a bit more steep, A lot of this is lost because we have that lower resolution image stretching out to a 1000 by 1000 from a 500 by 500 image. So a lot of the detail is kind of lost in that bit. Granted, going from there though, you're getting a lot of these cool little mountain bits at the top and things like that. And then kind of come back here, we can see this little canyon area that it kind of made. But yeah, so you can see kind of how World Machine's working and how we can actually, this is the final product of moving it back into Minecraft itself. But over here, so this is kind of what that little valley area looks like up above there. It could be kind of cool to do a little settlement farming thing in here or something like that. Probably, actually it'd probably be a lake, to be honest. But yeah, so this was really without any of the terrain work done, guys. But yeah, so this is kind of, you guys can now just kind of see what it looks like, the final steps, if you guys haven't seen the worlds actually turned back into World Painter and then into Minecraft itself. But again, this is stretched out quite a bit. So once we get that full resolution image back in here after we finish up the world itself, this is just kind of to give you guys a bit of a benchmark of where we're at right now and where we're going to be going. So as always, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if what you guys think of this new valley method of doing it instead of the mountains going into the valley going into the mountains. Kind of reverse the whole workflow. So let me know what you guys think about it. That's pretty weird over there. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next one.